Alright, in this video we are going to about the concepts of alpha, that is your base angle, theta and quadrants. So we will start with quadrants. In trigonometry there are four quadrants. There are four quadrants with the numbering of 1, 2, 3, 4. Now these quadrants have a special property. In the first quadrant we say that all trigonometric functions are positive. In the second quadrant we say that sine is positive. In the third quadrant we say that tan is positive. And in the fourth quadrant we say that cos is positive. If I am saying that sine is positive in the second quadrant, that means what I'm saying that cos and tan, they both are negative in the second quadrant. If I'm saying that in the third quadrant tan is positive, that means I'm saying that sine and cos both are negative in the third quadrant. And similarly for fourth quadrant, if cos is positive, that means sine and tan are negative in the fourth quadrant. So whatever the function I am writing in each of the quadrant, that means that this function specifically in this quadrant is positive and other all the functions are negative. Secondly, if sine is positive, that means its reversal function, that is cosec, is also positive in the second quadrant. If tan is positive means cot is positive, and if cos is positive means sec is positive. So that is the first and the important concept of the quadrants, that you must understand that in which quadrant which function is positive and in which function is negative. After that we are going to start about the base angle, and it is denoted by alpha. Now if I draw the quadrant, so base angle is always starts from horizontal axis, right? Let's suppose in my first quadrant, that is my base angle alpha. In my second quadrant, that is my base angle alpha. Third quadrant alpha, and fourth quadrant alpha. So what is alpha? Alpha always starts from x axis, or you can say that always measures from x axis. After base angle we need to discuss about theta. Now theta is very important, right? Our ultimate goal is to find the values of theta. Now theta, first thing I'm talking about the direction. When we are measuring anti-clockwise, that means the sign is positive, and if we move in a clockwise direction, that means now it's a negative sign. So that is very important. Now how you are going to measure theta, and what is actually the difference between theta and alpha? Let's suppose that I have again made the quadrants, and now in this quadrant I'm going to discuss about theta and alpha both. Firstly, I will plot alpha like the one I've done in the previous diagram. Alpha, alpha and alpha, right? There are four alphas. Now if we talk about theta, first thing, theta always starts from the horizontal x-axis, that means my first quadrant, right? And it measures in anti-clockwise when the sign is positive. So that is the theta for the first quadrant. If you talk about the second quadrant, always starts from the first quadrant x-axis, and that is my theta for the second quadrant. If you talk about third quadrant, starts from positive x-axis, third quadrant, that is my theta. And for the last one, it will be starts from the horizontal x-axis and in the fourth quadrant, so that is my theta. All right, so theta is different from each of the quadrants. It starts from the horizontal x-axis. If the direction is positive, that means we need to move in a anti-clockwise direction. If the direction is clockwise, how you are going to define in your diagram? So if the direction is clockwise, again firstly I am plotting alpha in all four quadrants, alpha and alpha. Now if we are going to measure in the clockwise direction, so for the fourth quadrant, that will be my theta, right? And after that, starts from the same axis, from the third quadrant, that is my theta. After that, for the second quadrant, that will be my theta, and for the first quadrant, that is my theta. So first thing is you need to confirm it that whatever your direction is, the number of your quadrants is not changing. First, second, third, and fourth. So the quadrant number is always same, either you are moving in a clockwise direction or you are moving in a anti-clockwise direction.